Welcome to Sequeled. I am James.
My name's Blaise.
What needs to be the movie that needs to get a sequel right now? That is The Burbs.
The Burbs.
Tom Hanks, The Burbs.
Yes.
Joe Dante classic.
We love Joe Dante on this show. We've
Definitely.
done Small Soldiers and Gremlins. Like now it's The Burbs.
All his movies make for good sequels because they're always like crowd pleasers. I don't know. It's like something about him that he makes a movie for everyone. And I think honestly what it like dwells down to, if you look at it like under a microscope, he's like hugely influenced by Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
And I think that just like Looney Tunes is something you could just put on, even though, I mean, there are some fucked up episodes, to be honest, but like you could just put on and it's like something for everyone. Like, even though it is kind of dark.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that he taps into something like in our brain that we're just like, I really like this, you know?
Yeah. He leaves you always wanting more, I feel like. And even when he did actually create more for us with Gremlins too, it's like, damn, you knocked it out of the park. With like something completely different. And with The Burbs, I don't want to do something technically completely different, but it does feel fresh and weird and new to this kind of movie. If you haven't seen The Burbs, a lot of people haven't seen it. Like, it's a movie that's still relatively new to me. I've only seen it within the past decade. And it came out in 1989, so it's about as old as I am. I was born 90. So Tom Hanks, you know, he's on vacation from work, and he just, instead of going on vacation, though, he just spends his time at home. He wants to relax, get to know his neighbors a little better. And there's these new weirdos across the street that keep making noise in their basement. What the fuck are they doing? So that's the plot of that one. Now we're in the future. Tom Hanks has grown older. And we're living in a day and age where it's fucking impossible to own a house now. You kind of have to inherit a house. So it makes sense for Tom Hanks to be at the same house still. His kids in the movie have grown on. They've, like, you know, lived a happy life there, lived somewhere else. Maybe they can make a cameo and visit back or something. Carrie Fisher sadly has passed away. She was his wife in the original movie, and you could keep it that way. She just passed away in real life, so he's by himself, has nothing to do but watch the neighbors. So at the same house, he has the same neighbors. You can even have Corey Feldman being a neighbor with a happy family, but completely like he mellowed out because he's like this fucking like punk rock butch dude who looked like Rambo or something.
Yeah.
He's always wearing like the red headband in that movie.
That was a popular look, even in the Lost Boys.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
Still rocking
Yeah,
that.
you're right. Yeah.
We're fighters for truth, justice, and the American way.
So with The Burbs, I kind of want it to be funny. Like, he's kind of a grumpy old man. But what's so funny is young, rich kids move across the street. Like, you're like, what the fuck? Why? Like, how did they afford a house? Like, popular YouTubers or something. That's like how they made
Logan Paul or Jake Paul or whatever.
Exactly. I kind of wanted to make fun of that crowd. But what makes them so dangerous is they seem like all happy and nice. Like Tom Hanks, like, oh, they're actually good, well-behaved kids. You know, you can have parties, but they're nice and polite.
Until they light a fire in their pool or some shit. They light their pool on fire.
No, they're gonna have a cult night.
like they're actually Satan worshippers.
They're like some kind of crazy demon worshippers. Like they created their own demon that they believe in, but like they like accidentally bring in like a random other demon or like they don't actually bring in a demon, but they just believe in sacrificial shit. So maybe they like kill one of their
Maybe he has
neighbors.
like a dog and like it just disappears.
It just
like, where'd my dog go? Like, because he gets a dog because he's so lonely.
Right.
And then like he's just like, where'd my, and it has to be like a funny style dog, like a chow or something random where it is a popular dog, but it just.
Yeah, a cute little puff ball or something.
Yeah.
So that's where I kind of see the sequel going. You can bring back original people and just want it to be dark and creepy and like just out of nowhere, like it gets gory like the original, but it is still funny and has that fun vibe that the original had where it feels like it is a kid's movie, but it's not. It's violent. That's what I love about Joe Dante movies. Gremlins, Small Soldiers, even Looney Tunes Back in Action, a movie that he did make, is like kind of adult for like a kid's movie.
I have a funny story actually about the first time that I saw The Burbs. It was on, like, we just got a new TV, and it was one of those, like, I don't know. It was one of those, like, live view TVs or whatever, like the one with the fast frame rate.
Okay.
Or True Motion, that's what it's called.
Right, yeah.
And, like, I didn't know how to turn it off yet. And, like, I watched The Burbs on it, and, it was so fast. Like, the camera movements, the cuts. I don't know what is with True Motion. Like, if you love movies and that's on your TV, please turn it off.
Right.
Like, for the sake of the movie. That's not how it was originally meant to be shown. That's not how anyone should watch anything.
And
like, maybe reality
an original
TV.
movie into that mode is just ridiculous.
It was, everything was so fast. It was like someone was holding the fast forward button on the wall. Everything was playing like normally. It was like the camera just like go for these crazy dolly shots. You're just like, what's going on? Like, it was too much. Like, it honestly made me like seasick watching the movie. So I had to watch it at a later date and loved it. But I had to I couldn't watch it at that moment. I'm like, this is too much. It's not the movie's fault, but Samsung. Yeah. Stop that shit.
So you were relatively new to watching it then as well then? If it
yeah,
was
probably like 2-3 years ago I watched it.
Yeah.
Previously I tried like 5-6 years ago.
It was like one of the original Netflix instant streaming movies, and I think that's how I came across it actually, because I had been there like when Netflix streaming was like just barely becoming a thing, and I was still borrowing your account when like no one else had Netflix yet and stuff. You're like, oh, give it a try. And so I think that's how I discovered it. And yeah, I'm glad I did. It still has like a cult following from what I've read, like with the VHS like crew, and still like, I was so happy to find a copy of it when I got into the movie. And it's just such a fun watch, and like bringing like Tom Hanks is still one of just the most likable actors in Hollywood, I feel like.
Definitely.
To where even if like you haven't seen the original Burbs, like just anything he does draws your interest. No, it might not necessarily be a big hit movie, but
you always have someone to root for when he's in the movie.
Exactly. And I think that was just part of the thing with like, you know, he's an obnoxious neighbor spying on everyone. Like, the hell's your problem? But you still root for him and like him. And you do know that there is something wrong with those villains, the old people in the Burbs. And I think it'd be funny to see him just spying on some young kids, him being older now.
I like the idea also that now he's older, he's by himself. He has this little dog that keeps him company. That's about it. There's nothing really to look forward. So he's it's kind of like a Rear Window situation where now he's just like so bored. He's like stuck in his house. I'm going to look at the neighbors, check out what's going on, you know? So I like that. It should have some like influences from Rear Window.
Yeah, definitely. I like the influences of like Rear Window, of course. We haven't like seen the style of movie, like I feel like since Disturbia maybe. But what's cool about it now is you can bring in like actual modern technology. Also, like Tom Hanks using those fucking like sharper image like microphones where he can hear from 20 feet away. Just like funny ass things where you're just like, what the fuck? Who uses that? But Tom Hanks would.
Oh, I know. Okay, so when I was a kid, I used to have these, like me and my friend, like my neighborhood friend, he's like 5 houses away, and we would always like get into trouble as kids. Like it was like basically a Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn situation in the 90s. Like that's why a movie like not 8th grade, sorry, the 90s or whatever, that Jonah Hill movie is like, oh, that was like me.
Right.
We were always obsessed with like military shit, playing with like little green army men, like, and then we like escalated to like playing video games. There was always like spy video games like Splinter Cell, or
Perfect Dark.
Yeah, Perfect Dark, those type of games. So we would like buy like, there was like one of those, it's like Sharper Image or like one of those stores would have like spy gear for kids. And this was around the time of Spy Kids. That's where it came from. Yeah. Like me and him hated Spy Kids, but we loved like the technology that was, it wasn't like Spy Kids branded, but it was like another brand.
You wanted to be them essentially and stuff like that.
Not Spy Kids. We wanted to be like literal spies. Like we would like have like neoprene like face masks, and we would go out, like we would like sleep in like a tent in his backyard and basically use that as an excuse to just like patrol the neighborhood at night, getting into stuff like with little spy gear. I had this little gun that would like shoot in, you could hear super far away, so we would like use that and like just check up on everyone. Walk around, and you know the little like lights that would have sensors, like try and like not set those off at like 1 a.m. as like a 12-year-old, you know, like, so he'd get into trouble like that. But what if Tom Hanks' son, like he finds like his son's old toys, it's like going through him reminiscing about the past, like, oh man, he loved this toy, I used to do this, you know, play with this toy with him, and then he finds like a spy kit and he's like, I want to see if this thing works, and that's when he hears the sacrifice. Like, you know.
No, I love it. Yeah. And what I think it's fun also because the original takes place all in one location, and keeping it that way also works great too. And is actually, that would make it a cheap movie to make. It was all filmed all in one location at the Universal Studios backlot. You drive through there, if you go see the Desperate Housewives area or see the Monsters house, it's literally the same exact cul-de-sac.
It's awesome.
And you can easily make it look just exactly the same. A house or neighborhood like that in the middle of nowhere in the original would probably still look the same. Maybe someone painted their house. That's it. Maybe it's just different cars or, a satellite dish on top of a couple of them. But
I say just have it be the same and just like maybe paint the houses different.
Everyone's stuck in that same old world that they just lived in.
It's the suburbs. It shouldn't change,
Exactly.
So
I just love that. And I think it would be a great idea to come back and revisit. Why not? So let's see it. Let's see a sequel to The Burbs, guys. So that's it for this week, guys. Tune in next week. Be sure to check out all our shows, Sequel, the movie, some of our pranks and skit videos. Thanks so much, guys. Tune in next week. See you then.